All right, but hello, y'all. Hello. Welcome to the Roth Talk podcast where we talk that talk. Hey, we on Fireside Chat, y'all. Hello, man. Salute to Fireside Chat. Hollering at your guy, letting you know that, hey, y'all want to bring me on the platform. So, hey, I appreciate y'all. And I'm so excited, man. We got a dope show for y'all today. I got my people pulling up. Let me see. Bottz in the building. I'm going to invite them up. Get this thing cranked up. Invite the video. Because you know how we do, man. We going to talk that talk on the Roth Talk podcast. So, hey, man, this here is season 2. This is episode 4, man. I got my guy Bottz, the, man, producer extraordinaire. Man, my brother, the co-creator of the No Egos Music Network and No Egos Club. You know what I'm saying, man? Man, I got so many things to run down with my guy, and I cannot wait for our conversation today. So, Bottz, come on stage whenever you're ready. I invited you up, my guy, so let's get this thing cranked up. But, man, shout out to everybody in the building, man. There you go. You there, Bottz?
I guess. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, my guy.
How I get the camera joint to work?
If you click on your profile, click on your pic, it should let you say, oh, my bad, no, in the bottom left-hand corner, where the little 2 lines is, it'll say for your video. Yeah, it's the 2 lines.
I hit that. Show settings. I'm now.
Yeah, it should say turn on video.
Oh, why don't see this shit?
Your shit don't say that?
Broadcast to the world, share with followers, show settings, leave the show. I don't see.
I had invite the video. You can get nothing from me.
Okay, I got that now. Let's see,
man. Hey, man, we up here, yo. Shout out to everybody pulling up, man. We got the fam in here.
I accept. Oh shit, I gotta hit accept. I'm in this bitch.
Hello, Heifer. Hello, my God. There we go. Clap it up for Bottz in the building. My bro in the building, man. What's going on, my guy?
Man, just finishing up a day's work, brother. Had a couple of lessons, had a couple of mixes. You know me, shit. Work.
Hey, you know how we do, bro. We stay working, my guy. So, man, we got so much to talk about, man. So many great things popping off. But I always like to start the show for those people that's been living under a rock or ain't been listening to the radio or ain't had no car. Like if you heard my guy music somewhere, somehow. So Bottz, man, just let the people know out there, who is Bottz, bro, my guy.
Man, Bottz is just a young player from H-Town, Texas, who loves music. I love helping people. I love creating. And, you know, I've been blessed to do this, you know, a while. And so, you done heard a record or 2. I'm sure you done heard a few of them. You know, you may not have known. A lot of people say, I didn't know you did that. Well, shit, you know, I did it. So, man, just blessed to keep working. And, you know, right now, we riding this wave, brother. So, it's what a time to be alive, to quote Drake.
Yes, sir, man. Well, you know, I like to get into it, man. I always like to start from the beginning. Then we have a midway point, and then we gonna, you know, see the ending in the future. So I always like to ask, man, what inspired you at a young age? Were you doing music? Did your mom make you, you know, have to do music? Were you doing music in school? Like, what gave you your musical start on your musical journey?
Man, I was born into music. My dad was a quartet singer, you know, a gospel quartet singer. My mom really wasn't into music. I mean, she played the tambourine at church, but I get most of all my musical talent from my dad's side. My dad played the bass. He was in a quartet group. My grandfather, he played the guitar. He was a singer. My grandmother played the piano. And so my aunt sung. So that whole side was just musically inclined. And so my grandmother on my mother's side, she had a piano at the house, but she ain't really play. She kind of pick every now and then, but she wasn't no player. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother on my dad's side, she was a player. She was a church musician. So I was born into it. You know what I'm saying? And so I started playing drums at the age of 4. At the age of 4, my mama bought me a Muppet Babies drum set. Muppet Babies. I got a picture. I got a picture of me 4 years old at Christmas time with that drum set, and that's what got me started.
So now let me ask you, when you got started, were you like trying to play songs, or were you just going crazy? Like what like you just
Like
got?
the typical kid, man, just beating on shit, and man, beating and beating and beating. And so I used to start tagging along with my dad to his quartet rehearsals. And so, that's what kind of got me started. And then when I was 6 years old, we was they had a gig actually, and the drummer had a wreck. And so the group was panicking, like, man, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? And my daddy looked and said, Davion gonna sit on the drums. And so at 6 years old, I'm on the set, rocking it out, man. So
Wow.
that was my first gig, and it's just been, it's just been up since then. I started playing drums at 4, got my first gig at 6. Playing drums afforded me the opportunity to play with a lot of people. I played with Kirk Franklin. I've done a gig with Marvin Sapp. I've done, I was more on the gospel side playing drums because that was my early stage. So, like a lot of musicians, I started in the church. So, I was playing drums, and I didn't start playing keys till I was like 18. So,
okay, all right, we're gonna get to that part because we all know people in this chat know how dope you are on the keys. So we definitely gonna get to that journey. But now listen, did you get paid for that gig at 6? Did you at least get some McDonald's or something like that?
I'm gonna tell you what my daddy did though. He blessed me with some game that has blessed me for the rest of my life. He took me to this restaurant called Bottz. Bottz is a combination of Waffle House, Denny's, and IHOP on steroids, and they stay open 24 hours.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, man.
When you come to Houston, I'm gonna take you to Bottz. So he took me to Bottz. I've been going to Bottz ever since, man. Bottz it's crazy. When this is crazy. When my grandfather passed last month, me and my 2 sisters and my brother, we had to wait for. We didn't go to the gravesite. We went to Bottz. It was crazy. We went to Bottz to wait for them to come back. So I got to take you to Bottz, man. Bottz is so he didn't pay me, but I think he started me on my food journey because
he changed you on your food journey, like right.
Hey, hold up, man. Bottz is off the chain, bruh.
All right. Well, let's keep it moving on that. So you 6 years old, you gigging. Now, were you doing any of your own music, or were you just kind of playing gospel? Did your parents let you listen to secular music? Like, what kind of vibe did you have at that point?
Well, that's the dope part about my mama, man. My mama listened to. My mama listened during the week. She listened to, as they say, secular. But then early Sunday morning, when she waking us up and cooking breakfast, it was on 90.9, which is the gospel station. So we had a healthy balance, and that's where I got my start, man. My mama would jam stuff like Isleys, Luther Vandross, Freddie Jackson, and so I was able to listen to that kind of music. But I didn't, I didn't have any secular gigs till I was older, so I was still, just stuck in the church.
In the church mode. Okay. All right. So let's keep going from there. So you got the drums going. So you played drums all the way until you was 18? Like, did you touch anything else before we go on?
Nope. Just a drum.
Straight drumming.
Just straight. I was content with the drum. I was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't an average drummer. You know what I'm saying? So I was pretty good, and I was making decent money. My little church would give me $50 every other week. You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
So that was gas money, so it wasn't no big deal. So, it was cool. I was just on drums, literally just on drums. Never touched the keyboard, never touched the bass, just drums.
Jeez. Okay, so you playing in church. We talking middle school time now. Going. So were you in any groups? Did you do any music yourself?
I didn't do nothing. I was in the school band until I stole the fundraiser candy and brought it to school and tried to
Hold on. Time out. You got kicked out of the band,
bruh. I'm gonna tell you, I was a dumb salesman because I stole the candy from the band room and came the next day and sell it in the hallway. Y'all laughing off that out.
I know. I had to mute the sound effects, but go ahead, Mike. They
And
going
so,
crazy down there.
yeah, I brought it back the next day and tried to sell it in the hallway. Some of the students went and dined me. I ended up whooping one of the dudes. I knew he told, and I got kicked out of band. So I wasn't in band no more. And even though the funny thing was, when I was in 6th grade, to get into symphonic 2, you had to be like just up here because you had 7th graders and 8th graders already there. I was the first 6th grader to get symphonic 1 drummer because I could play a set. And, you know, while they knew all the technical stuff on that, I would sit down on the set and run loops around their ass. They doing rudiments and I'm going around the set. So
killing them.
I got kicked out, man. I got kicked out, man. They kicked me out, bro. And so my mom was disappointed, but I still was playing at church. So it was cool, man.
Somebody downed you out, man. Listen. All right, so we're gonna skip past that part. We're gonna skip past middle school. Let's go on to high school now. You know, let's talk about a young freshman, Bottz, coming into high school, fresh off of a band from band and shit. So
right.
Let's talk about a young freshman, Bottz, man. What you still gigging? You still at the church? What else you had going on?
Man, that's when I started. You know, I was a short, fat kid. You know what I'm saying? I was a little short, fat kid, and I had my growth spurt in between the 8th grade and 9th grade, and so I started, you know, playing football. Well, I had already been playing football, but I grew, so I started excelling more on the football. So I really wasn't. I was just playing at church like every other Sunday, and that was it. You know, football and drums. That was my life. That was literally my life. You know, girls, you know, shit, titties.
Hello.
You know, the girls started developing in middle school and high school, you know what I'm saying? So shit, I started seeing what the titties was like, and I was like, fuck the drums, let me get on these practices. Let me get on these practices over here. I don't want no snare, I don't want no bass drum, give me that nipple and that areola.
Oh my God, hello.
I was a little managed nigga in 9th grade. I was shooting shots at seniors, bro, and getting them. Look, hello. Yeah, always shooting. I would never say, look, I was a freshman coming in, going up to seniors. Like, you know, I never had a MAC game or whatever. It's just, you know, my homegirl, my co-host TT, shout out to her. She say, Bottz, you always got pussy because you funny. You just a fun. She's like, you don't even try to be funny and you funny. So I would, you know, walk up to them and say something funny. Next thing you know, they like, yeah, how the freshman get to senior? Because I'm funny, cake ass nigga. So anyway, that was me in high school. Football, drums, and titties.
Hello. So let's talk about, because we knew you was a football star, so let's talk about your football. What was your stats, my guy? How you was look? What position? Man, and what was your stats, my guy?
The thing now, see, football in high school took a different turn for me from middle school because, well, middle school kind of, because that's when my father faded away. And so I don't know if y'all have ever seen the movie The Program. They had this linebacker now, Alvin Mack, and Alvin Mack would channel all this this furiousness and a rage in the other, you know, the other side. That's what I did, and I took out the pain of my dad just kind of abandoning me, and that allowed me to become a beast. Like I was a beast on the field. You know what I'm saying? I had by the time I got through with football, I had like 17 offers. You know what I'm saying? I had scholarship, and I was bad, but I was smart. I made straight A's. I was a straight A student. My mama had. You know, that's when they gave us stickers, every report card. My mama had a thing of stickers that say my son is an A and B student at Eisenhower High. This high, literally. So I wasn't dumb. I was just bad. And so I'd have straight A's on the card and my conduct be straight U's. You know what I'm saying? Just
like,
unsatisfactory.
He's smart as hell, but he bad as hell. Like, what we gonna do?
Just bad, you know. And my mama used to wonder, like, why you so bad? You know what I'm saying? So, that fueled me.
What she say about? Why
you so bad? Because my mom was mild mannered. You know what I'm saying? My daddy was the one who was bad growing up, so I got that from him. But he had disappeared, so you know, I had gotten to some other activities in high school. You know, getting in with some other crowds. You know, it was a couple of OGs on my street growing up, and you know, I took to them. You know, my daddy wasn't there, so I started hanging out with these older dudes and you know, doing some different things. But I never lost focus. I stayed, you know, my grades. Stayed working out. You know what I'm saying? I started, you know, getting my little build, and I saw the girls like the build and like the legs, and so you know what I'm saying? I started working out, and so that's what my high school career was. I started working out, and I met a lot of people in high school, and I'm still cool to this day. I was voted class clown twice. I was voted Mr. Popular once. So you know, high school was a great time for me. You know what I mean? I was coming into my personality that I have now, and you know, being a jokester, being a clown person, messing with girls, and all that kind of stuff. So high school was cool, man. High school was really, really cool for me. I can't say I had a bad high school experience, but I had a football scholarship, and then I hurt my shoulder. Before I played one down at practice, I hurt my shoulder, and when I say I hurt it, I had separated. I separated my shoulder on the turf.
Jeez.
Never forget, I was trying to brace my fall, and it was kind of wet. The turf was wet, and I put my hand down to brace my fall, and my hand slid. So all 265 pounds of my body went on my shoulder. So I got up looking like this with my shoulder disconnected. So I'm running to the trainer, and he's like, just pop it back in. So he pops it back in. I go back to practice. Well, the very next day, what happened? It popped back out again. So they went in and gave me an MRI, and it showed that I had a separated shoulder. So it was like, well, we can give you a scope surgery, and you know, it's a 30-minute procedure. You won't even be asleep. We'll give you some happy gas. We don't, you know, you won't feel it 30 minutes. So I said no, I didn't want to get that. They was like, okay, well then you can get it after the season. So season ain't even started. We had like 5-6 more practices, and when I tell you my stuff popping out like 4-5 times a practice, I'm putting it back in. So I finally, I was like, boy, just get the surgery. So finally, I'm like, okay, I'll get the surgery. I go to get the surgery. Remember, the doctor told me we're gonna scope you. It's 30 minutes. Cool. Go get the surgery. Surgery's at like 6 a.m. I got to be there like 5 o'clock. Can't eat the night before after 12. Right. You know that bullshit. Right. So they put me under. No, they gave me the happy gas first, and then they put me under. So I wake up 3 hours later, and I'm like, I looked at the clock, and I'm like, I see my mama sitting there and the doctor over there, and I look, and my mom, I think this is the first time my mama heard me curse, because I looked, and I was like, I looked down at my shoulder, it was blood everywhere and gauze, and so I looked up, and I say, what the fuck? Never forget it. I said, what the fuck? And my mom was like, Bottz. And I was like, what? I was like, it's like 4 in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened?
They said 30 minutes. They said 30 minutes.
So the doctor came up to me. He said, well, man, had you came and got your shoulder fixed when we first diagnosed you, you've been a cool, but you continue to be hard-headed and play. So not only dislocated, you had torn ligaments, you had broken bones, and you had severed sinew, whatever he said. So he's like, once we got in there with the scope, we saw a whole wreck. So after that surgery, I mean, the coach comes in like the next day. Coach is like, man, you know, they say within 3 to 9 months, you're going to be ready to go. 3 to 6 months, you'll be ready to go get back on the field. I was like, no, I'm not. I quit. I quit. And he was like, huh? I say, I'm done. I love football, but do you, and I told him, I said, do you see my shoulder? And right when he was standing there, my shoulder had a spasm. And mind you, I got a cut. I got a 7-inch cut from here to here. And my shoulder spasm. Like, I'm crying because I'm in pain. This little morphine drip ain't doing shit for me. So football career, done. I was done, bro. I was like, and then so I lost my scholarship. And, you know, I was like, fuck school. I left school. I went for 1 semester, literally. And I told my mama, and she always quote me. She said, you came home and told me school ain't for you. I was like, yeah, I couldn't play ball no more. So I wasn't the one who wanted to go to school anyway. So football career over. So that's when I focused on piano. So that brings us to when I started.
To piano. All right, now let's go back, man, because that was a pivotal point in your life because you could have continued. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so now looking back, do you feel like you made the right decision?
Yeah, because I see these guys who I played ball with, man, and all of them got like limps and dips and And I'm like, nah, I didn't want to be the guy at 50 years old walking around with my shoulder like this because I just want to keep sacrificing my body for the game. No, fuck you. I am not. I didn't want to play no more. It literally, when I saw that, man, I saw my football career just end. And I wasn't the one who had the hopes of going to the NFL. I played football because it was fun and I got to hit people. That was it. Yeah. And so I just quit. And my mom always like, why'd you quit? I'm like, man, that pain, bruh. And then they put me in this little sling that had a pillow. And so I had to walk around like this for 2 weeks. I'm walking around. And you don't know how much, and I'm right-handed. When I do all my activities, I'm right, but my throwing hand is left. So you don't realize how fucked up you are when you got to use your off hand. Brushing your teeth, wiping your ass.
Awkward as hell.
Bruh, I think I done wiped my ass a couple times and got a little on my hand because my left hand, shit. You know, I couldn't brush my teeth. I had to take a bath. You know what I'm saying? Oh, god damn. You know, you just
oh my god. Yeah.
You uncoordinated. So it just that made me quit. I was like, I'm done. And my mama, even the coach came and visited me like a month later when I started rehab because the school paid for the rehab. So I'm in the little weight room with the little white dude doing the little bands and shit, doing all that. Are you sure about man? Fuck you. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing no more, bro. Right, I'm good. So wow. That was it, bro. That was it.
So do you feel like that was meant to be? Do you feel like that was like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like, all right, this is supposed to steer you in your direction of where you're supposed to be going. Cause man, I cannot wait to get to this next half. Cause man, that like, woo, my guy, they're cooking, my guy. So you know what I mean? D-Bottz, I want to tell you, my guy, publicly, you know, I'm proud of you. I love what you're doing. I love what you created. You my brother, and I'm riding with you to the nail and my guy. So you know, Roth riding with you, my bro. Man, you know that.
I said, and I told Lily this, man. Shout out to Lily. That's Boo Thizzle. I told her a couple of days ago. I said, man, it's crazy that 2 years ago I wouldn't imagine my life being where my life is. And I said, had I still been in my situation from 2 years ago, I wouldn't have met none of y'all. I just know I wouldn't have. And so I know this is destiny, and I know it's faith, and I know fate. I know it's God. I know it's all these things working together to link us up because 2 years ago, I ain't know none of you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Hello, goddammit.
Ain't know none of y'all. Knew of some of the people work, knew of some of the people song that produced, but I ain't know y'all existed. I ain't know you. I didn't know Auntie Jackie. I didn't know that shit, but I'm blessed to be in a position to to have family that ain't blood. You know what I mean? And sometimes blood family is worse than you know what I mean. So
they'll treat you bad,
bruh. So I'm just in the we're like I said at the beginning, we riding this wave right now, and it's a wave that nobody expected. I did not know about no damn cookout 2 years ago.
Hello.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know about Clubhouse.
Look at your T-shirt. Look at your T-shirt, my guy.
Look at the T-shirt. Look at the album. Look at the album.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to get there. So let's get back on track. But I had to give you your flowers because you already know you my guy. And I got no problem telling my guys they doing their thing. And you know what I'm saying? I promote that because, we need to hear that brother to brother that you doing your thing. So now let's talk about these keys. So you fresh out of college, 1 year college dropout.
One semester.
Yeah, I'm calling Kanye dropout over here. So,
1 semester.
Man, listen, the college dropout's winning right now. So listen, 18, you coming back to the crib. I know you thinking like, what the hell am I about to do with my life? Because football was your life. Now let's talk about the transition of getting to the keys, and then first let's talk about when you first got home, your thought process. Where was your mental state at that time? And then let's get right into the keys. Hello.
Well, it was different because I started playing football in the 3rd grade, and so I had played football all my life. That's all I knew, besides music, and so it was different. I got home. I couldn't, my mom. I had to rely on my mama. I had to rely on my little sister. And I had a girlfriend at the time named Shara who used to come over and my mama would get mad because like I let Shara bathe me and shit. You know, my mom be like, "Don't take my wife." I'm like, "Nah, mama, she gonna bathe me. Don't y'all be doing nothing in that bed." You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh my God.
but it's the realization of a closing of a chapter because, like I said, you know, I had been playing ball. Shoot, I was 8 to almost 19, so 11 years. So that was my life. So realize
your identity. It became your identity, right?
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people knew Bottz on that field. You know, so it was just a closure. You know what I'm saying? And then I had to sit there on the couch for like 2 weeks and rehab, and finally my shoulder get back. You know, and then that's when I started playing the keys. Now the keys story. This is the funniest story because I had left the church I was playing at and went with the pastor's son. He started his own church, and it was more so a lot of the youth from the church because it was an old school church. And he wanted a younger. So we go to set up for the very first service. This is hilarious, bro. And so somebody donated him a keyboard, and I had bought some drums because shit, I play drums. I had bought me some drums. I'm setting up the drums and the keyboard. I'm like, man, I was like, who playing keys tonight? He say, you. I say, what? And he's like, you playing keys. Chris going to drums. Now, mind you, Chris hadn't really played drums. He done tinkled around, but so we looked at each other like, man, this nigga is crazy. We ain't playing no. And sure enough, bro, the very first place I played keys for, it was a church called Christian World. Shout out to Pastor Isaac Ford. And it's been up since then. You know, I didn't know how to play. I'm self-taught. I never took lessons. But I got high.
So hold on. Time out. How the hell you ain't take no lessons and you all on this bit like this? So how was your first time playing? Like, did you mess up? Like, how did you knew what to play?
Probably with these 3 fingers. That was it. I didn't know, you know, but they always say it's easy to go from drums to keys because, you know, drums, you got to have rhythm, you got to have independence, you got to have all this. So going to keys wasn't hard. You know, I knew the white keys all went together. I knew all them hoes went together. So every song we did was in the white keys. Every song.
So you was good. I'm good.
Man, look, I'm telling you, they be like, that song too low if you don't sing it in this cause I didn't know about transposing. I ain't know none of that. Had I known, I would have made, you know, kind of cheap. But I struggled. Like my first 2 years playing keys, nobody taught me, nobody would help me. And man, that was an incident, man. I always go back to, I had just started playing in church and we went to visit this other church. And the pastor I played for was up there, you know, getting into his ooh. I didn't know that shit. I didn't know how to back up the pastor. And there was this other older musician now. He was like, move, you playing the wrong thing. And like my drummer looked at me like, let him make it. Cause you know
they know you, my guy.
You know, so and that was the moment I said, you know what? I'll never get embarrassed in no church again. So I used to go home, bro. When I tell you I used to practice 3-4 hours a day, 3-4 hours a day.
Talk about it.
I put my headphones on and I learned keys. I'm going up and down scales, learning. I'm practicing. I'm honing my craft because if ain't nobody gonna show me, because see, and this is why I am the way I am. Like that was a teaching moment for old buddy. It's like, hey, why don't you watch me do it and kind of learn what I'm doing? That's the way you should approach it. Don't be like, nah, man, you need to move. You playing around.
Right, move, little young.
Yeah. and so, you know, it drove that night, changed my life because I was like, I'll never get embarrassed again. You know what I'm saying? I got too much pride, first of all, and anything I put my mind to, I know I can do. So I was practicing, like I said, I was practicing a good 15, 20 hours a week. Wow. Because I had me a job, I had a warehouse job, and I was playing at the church. That was my two incomes. So that's where I was. So that's how I started on keys. So the blessing came the next year when I got hired at Guitar Center.
Okay. So at this time, how many years you in? From
on keys,
school?
about 2 years. I'm about 2 years on keys. Okay. And so getting hired at Guitar Center changed my life because I was able to meet a lot of musicians, because you know musicians would come up to Guitar Center and they still were some assholes. I'd be like, hey man, show me what you just played. Man, you know what it is. Nigga, if I knew what it is,
I wouldn't go here, my God.
You know,
Hello.
and so there was two musicians, man, and I always shout them out because they were the beginning of my playing. One name was Brian Cameron, and the other one was Derek Hall Sr. They would come in like weekly, and like on my lunch break, they'd be like, "What you working on this week?" And I'd be like, "I don't know." He's like, "All right, sit down, let me show you this." So those were the first two people, and this dude named Pookie. Shout out to Pookie. They would show me, they would show me stuff, and from what they would show me, I would take that and go put my spin on it. And so, working at Guitar Center, I got to learn keys and learn MIDI and learn stuff I never knew about. Because I still, at this point, Rolf, I'm still not knowing what a producer is. I don't know what a producer is.
Let's talk about it.
I'm just a drummer who went to keys, who play at church. I like rap music. I don't know about who make the beats. I don't know none of that shit. So working at Guitar Center, I'm learning. They sending me to classes on Tritons and VS 1880s and Mackie boards. I'm getting trained. All this knowledge is getting poured into me. When I say poured into me, they sent me to Chicago. They sent me to Yamaha in Cali. They sent me to Roland, New York, because I started becoming a salesman. And I grew into being the number one salesman for 2 years straight. And so that piano playing started, you know what I'm saying, going up and up and up, because people would come in Guitar Center and be like, when I heard you 2 years ago, you ain't play like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
That's when I got to start meeting people. And then I got famous because I would play the drums on the keyboard. And it wasn't too many cats who could play key drums at this time. Everybody do it now, but they couldn't do it like me. So we would legit have jam session. It'd be 2-3 keyboardists in there, and I'm on the keyboard playing the drum. So that's how I got started on keys.
Wow. So we already had a show, but the audio got messed up. But you gotta talk about another life-changing moment where you were there at Guitar Center, my guy. Because because that cranked up the empire that Bottz World Studio is now, my guy. So hello,
man. So I was, my favorite board was the Triton, because that was the first board they sent me on training on, and so I was just amped. I love the Triton, and so one day
Triton was fire. Hold on, salute alert to Triton, man, because that was my first keyboard I learned on. So salute the program and all that. Man, clicking that shit, you already know.
I could sequence, I could sample, and what separated me from a lot of people is I knew how to use the vocoder. And most people didn't know how to use the vocoder, and I knew how to sample real good in there. So the things I did on the Triton, people needed an MP and Pro Tools and Digital Performer and Cubase and Cakewalk at the time to do. Not me. You give me that board. And then we had a nationwide contest of who could sell the most workstations in a month. Who wins the contest? Me. So I won a choice between a Motif or a Triton. They gave you the board. So what I get? I got a Triton. Of course, I got a Triton. So at this time, one day I'm on my lunch break, and I'm back in the back just programming a Triton, doing what I think, is programming. And Scarface, the rapper from the Ghetto Boys, walks in, and he's looking over my shoulder, and he's bobbing his head, and he's like, "Man, how much you want for that track, man?" And I turn around like, "What? How much you want for that track?" I was like, "What track? What the hell is a track?" When I tell you I was green. So he said, "Look, I give you $500 for that track." Oh, now you talking money? Oh, shit.
Hello. Whatever this is, I'm about to get it to you.
Yeah. So here's the funny part of the story. So at the time the Guitar Center would let you take the gear home, to learn it, to practice. Even if you had a gig and like, "Hey, I want to gig with this tonight," and they let you go. So he was like, "Hey, meet me at my crib tonight, so you could dump the beat and how I'm gonna get the beat." And I was like, "Okay." So I saved it on my disc. And then I took a little small one. I was programming on a big 88, but I took a small one. So I go to his house, big ass house. Bruh, we both don't know what the fuck we doing. But
we're both trying to figure it out.
I'm such a G. I'm like, "Yo, I don't know this shit. Like, I know, I don't know how to dump it in the Pro Tools. I don't know all this." He's like, "Well, shit, Bottz, I don't know it either." He said, "We finna learn together." He said, "What you drinking?" I said, "What you got?" He was like, "I got some brown. Give me some brown." No bullshit, Roth. The track that I did for him was 10 tracks in total. It took us 4 hours. It took us four hours to dump 10 tracks.
Jeez.
And so, but it was, Scarface was so cool about it, man. You know, and that was kind of my introduction into the game, because I didn't know nothing about no stars and all that. And I had met a few, gigging and whatever, but he was cool. Cause most, you'd be like, man, you don't know what you're doing. How you gonna sell something?
Right.
He wasn't like that. He was super cool. And he, like I say, 4 hours. And here's the other kicker, bro. He paid me to do the engineering on top of the track.
And you didn't know what you was doing.
Nope. Lost in the sauce like a motherfucker. I'm sitting there. He's sitting there, man. We laughing. We drinking. He's smoking. I ain't smoke, but he just like, I'm going to tell you what was funny. We had dumped like 4 tracks. I don't know what we did. We done erased all 4 and we couldn't get them back. So he just looked like, what you do? I say, shit, what you do? You have to, but it was a cool experience. That was my first track sold. And, I'm grateful to him.
Fire.
Because
hold on, Bottz. Do you really realize your first track was with a legend? Like, some people don't ever get a track at all. So you got your first track with a legend like that. I'm bugging right now and he paid you the engineer. You didn't even know what the hell you doing. You came up, my guy. You came up for sure.
Now that I look back at it, I'm like, that was crazy, because in this day and age, you don't see that kind of shit happening. So that launched Bottz. You know what I'm saying? Because Scarface had great affiliation with Rap-A-Lot. And he went back and told, hey, man, it's this young kid at Guitar Center. Yeah, I better lock him up, because he fired. And so, I signed my first production deal with Rap-A-Lot. And it was all
man, let's talk about that, man. So how were you feeling? Really not even a producer yet. You're not even a producer yet.
Ain't got one
signing. One.
Ain't got one. Because here's the thing. The beat I did for Scarface ain't even make the album.
Didn't even make the album. Damn, I'm about to ask you to make the album.
So they got one placement, but they signed me to a nice little old production deal. If you know Rap-A-Lot, I ain't get no publishing and I ain't get no mechanicals. They gave me a five-figure signing bonus, which I wasn't tripping on.
Hello.
But had I known what I know now, it might have been different. No, I'm lying, because you don't get no publishing now with them.
Nah, you just said, okay, my guy.
Yeah, but it opened the door. That got me. Now I started getting placements. I did stuff for Zero. I did stuff for UTP, the guys who did Know Your Clap with Juvenile. I got to work with the Ghetto Twins from down here. Who else I worked with on Rap-A-Lot? Everybody on Rap-A-Lot I got to do beats for. Everybody. So I got to do that, and that started launching me. You know what I'm saying? The Zero placements led to Swisher House. Swisher House was like, man, well, we want you to come work over here. I'm like, well, I'm on the contract over here, and I ain't I'm not messing this contract up. Like,
hello.
You had to talk to them. So then I fulfilled I think my first deal with them was like 15 tracks or something like that. So I fulfilled that, and they start going in a different direction with their label. And so, I was like, well, I got other offers, and it's all good love with them. Jay was cool, Big Chief, shout out to Big Chief, shout out to Red, shout out to Cheese. Them was my people. And so I'm good with Rap-A-Lot. While others have things to say about them, they ain't do nothing but give me checks. So,
hello.
Shout out to Rap-A-Lot H-Town, man. So I went from there.
Legendary too, my guy.
I went from there, and I went to Swisher House. And Swisher House wanted to do a joint venture with me with another production deal. And I told them, well, this is what I made at Rap-A-Lot. If y'all want me to come over here, y'all got to up that price. And they did. Watts had just signed a major deal. And so they had some bread. And so they shot me some bread and some publishing. I got to get some publishing on this one. So I did that. And that's when I did the original Still Tipping. Which,
hold on. Time out alert. You know I got to do my time out alert. Hold on, my guy. B-Bottz made Still Tipping Come on, my guy. So talk about that session. Talk about how that happened, and then we're gonna keep moving. But I had to do a goddamn TV timeout because that's a legendary fucking record. So my guy, let's talk about that. And what kind? Were you on Zaza when you made that shit? What was
I didn't
going
smoke.
on?
Look, I didn't smoke, but the room was so smoky, I might as well have. You know, I think I got a contact high, man, because you talk about Paul Wall, you talking about Mike Jones, you talking about Magno, you talking about Slim Thug, all them used to be in there. And it's like, shit, they line them up like motherfucking keys. I'm like, shit, you ain't had no choice but to get out. So
Hello.
let me tell you how that session started. I was playing a wah sample. If you listen to the beat, you can hear the wow, wow. That was me. And so my boy Big Time, shout out to Big Time, he was like, man, keep playing that. And so, you know, he got on the MP and he did like a kick and a snare. And then I was like, man, he was like, you need to play guitar. I was like, I don't play guitar. I was like, I know somebody who do. And so I brought my boy Corey Stute in. Shout out to Corey Stute. And Stute laid the real guitar, the little wah-wah, but I played keys and I did some percussion programming and I engineered the session. So that's what people don't understand because I was growing in my engineering too at this time because they didn't have nobody who knew how to record. So I was forced to learn how to record. So I did that. We did Still Tipping. And the original Still Tipping had Chameleon on it. That's what people don't know. It had Chameleon on it. And then they had the big fallout with him and Paul Wall. And because him and Paul Wall were a group. You know what I'm saying?
It was fire. Hell yeah.
They was a group.
Fire.
And so I'll never forget, man. I will never forget. They came in there and they was like, man, we're going to drop Still Tipping as a single. Man, when I tell you my eyes lit up, I'm like, what? It's going to be the single. And then they was like, but not your version. I say, what? I was like, what you mean? Man, we had, you know, we think Paul is a little more marketable and him and Chameleon that fell out and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, what? That's messed up. So the only good thing about that is I still own 5% of the record. So
Hello.
Not tripping at all. But so they, of course, the Still Tipping that came out that everybody knows, that was done by Carnival Beats. They in Austin, Texas. Salute to them. But that's when I still got to work. I still got to work with Billy Cook and Slim Thug and Chameleon now. And so I was working with everybody on Swisher House label. So then, you know, my name is really, really up here as one of the hottest producers in Houston. And so from there, we did The Day After Hell Broke Loose was a big record.
Went crazy, bro. Hello.
Yeah. Big record. And that was actually sold. It was recorded and I recorded and produced it all at Swisher House, but they sold the whole record to Rap A Lot. Jay them. So if you listen to the first song on there, it's the beat I did for Scarface. It's Jay talking. Like he say, big time, let's set this bitch off. That's Jay.
Right.
So they had the record. But I produced, I think it's 13 tracks on there. I produced like 9 of them. So yeah, I got to do.
I didn't even know you did that, man. I remember. So I gotta go back. I'm about to bump that tonight, man. I'm running that up tonight.
I got a song on there with Devin the Dude called "These Bitches." I got a song on there called "Go." Hey man, Devin tells a story about a chick he met. You got to go listen to it. Then I got a song on there called "Crazy," and "Crazy" is one of my favorite ones I've done because if you listen to the production on that at that time, that's 2005, 6, and you hear you like, damn, Bottz, you was kind of ahead of your time because it's melodic, it's almost Afrobeatish with a. So you know we did that, and after we did Day After Hell Broke Loose, man, everybody was beating on my door for beats. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was down here up for beats, so I got to work with a lot of local people. I got to work with everybody. What's that girl Valentine? Brooke Valentine. I got to work with Lil J Xavier. I was hitting Houston up like crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then I had my big break. And everybody knows it's the song called Going Crazy with Natalie. Which is
salute alert, salute alert, salute alert. Major check alert, yeah.
Man, look.
Talk about it, man. Let's talk about it because that song is crazy, my guy.
So the thing about it, Natalie didn't want to be a singer. Natalie is a Houston Rockets power dancer. She still is to this day. If you go to Natalie Alvarado, she was the dancer. She's the coach of the dancer. So my homeboy T Gray, he's a DJ down here. He was like, hey man, Natalie working on the album. She got a label situation. Send her some beats. So I sent her this beat that I meant to. And the way she got the beats crazy. I sent it to a gospel. I thought I had put the gospel CD. She got the gospel CD. And 2 beats she liked from me. That was one of them. So I never got to hear the song. I never heard the song because that's when I was kind of traveling. I think I was going back and forth to ATL. So I'm traveling, and I remember I finally got to hear the final record. I had a CD of it, and I put it in my car. And for some odd reason, I took the CD out, and it was sitting like in the little thing, right like the ashtray or whatever. So I'm riding one day in Houston, and I turn my radio on. I hear the song playing. I'm thinking it's my CD in the CD player, and so I'm jamming. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm jamming. I'm literally riding. I did that. 97.9. That's the new release from Natalie. I was like, and then I looked down because I'm like, the CD right here. Man, I call my homeboy Moshe. I say, dog. He say, bro, I know. He say, da. So that song, man, it went to number 4 on the Billboard charts. In the pop charts, it was number 1 for 13 weeks. It was in the top 100 for 38 weeks. And when I tell you that opened some doors, because that was when I got to fly to Universal. Because Natalie signed with Latium Records, which is Charles Chavez and Steve Chavez, and they did their joint venture with Universal. And they was like, well, who else y'all got? What else y'all got? They like, the producer of their record, y'all need to holler at them. So they fly me up there. I get to meet with Bruce Carbone and all these other people. Shout out to Bruce Carbone, even though he went to Def Jam. And I'm up there meeting with them. And they like, well, we want to give you a production deal because we know you got more Natalie tracks in you. Okay. So we do the deal, and they was like, how does Whoopty Whoopty Whoop sound? And I was like, 6 figures?
Hello.
They was like, yeah. And I'm like, hell yeah. And I ended up meeting my lawyer. I ended up meeting my lawyer in New York. He's an Italian. His name is Todd Rosenthal. I ended up meeting him. He looked over the contracts. He told me, this was back when you had points. And to get out of my contract, I had to get 8 points. And the way points used to work was if you co-produced, you had 25% of a record, like you get half a point. You know what I'm saying? And so if you produced a whole record, you get 1 point. So I had to get placements to get out of that deal. I was out of the deal in like 3 months because at the time I came back home and I had Shay Atkins. I had 3 records on her. And she was real hot in the city. I had Shay Atkins. I came back, and that's when I did UTP, and I did Billy Cook. And so I got these placements. It was done. You know what I'm saying? It was done. So they cashed me out, and it was like, they wanted to give me like the exact same deal, and I opted. I was like, nah, I done fulfilled it. Y'all got to come up. And so, I'm kind of flexing my own, oh shit, y'all got to do better.
Your collar on that.
Yeah, if y'all gave me 150, y'all gonna have to come up with 250 now. You dig? So
hello.
They didn't. So, I'm still just at this time I'm just working. And then comes my next big break. Your favorite girl, Maya.
Hello. Hi, Maya. Hello, Maya.
So the story how that happened, man, is always funny because Maya had just came from an overseas tour and she was doing a joint venture with Lil J. He had his son started a record label called Young Empire. And so Maya was signed to them, and she did an album with them. And so her manager at the time, shout out to Dollar Bill, she was like, I need some of the top producers in Houston. I'm gonna be in Houston for like 2 months. So he called me, Bottz, Maya gonna be in town tomorrow. I need your 7 best. So I was like, cool. So I put my 7 best and I sent it to him. So he'd say, I'm gonna play the CD for Maya. I'm gonna let you know how it goes. So he called me like 3 hours. He's like, man, she ain't like none of them. But he said, this is what he told me. This is exact words. He said, but she just got off of like a 15-hour flight from overseas. He's like, I know Maya. When she's tired, like she don't think. She whatever. He say, I got you though. I know I got my letter. I'm taking her to the hotel. I'm gonna let her sleep and I'm gonna play it again in the morning. No bullshit. He calls me back the next day. Matter of fact, I'm flying out of town. I flew out the next morning because I had to work in Atlanta. This is when I was working with old boy from Cisco and them group. I can't remember his name. Teo. I was Teo. And so he calls me like right when I land. I have like 3 voicemails because my phone was off. He's like, "Where you at? Maya got like 6 of your tracks and she want to record the all night." And I'm like, "I just landed in ATL to work." And he's like, so I called him. I'm like, "I'm in ATL." He's like, "Well, she gonna be at the studio tomorrow night. You got my flight wasn't supposed to come home. I think that was like a Thursday. I wasn't supposed to come till like a Saturday." So I'm like, "Damn." So I call United. I say, "Hey, what's the change flight fee? Because I'm not missing this shit." You know, I changed my flight. I come home. When I land, I go straight to the studio. She already recording on my beat to show me something with Bunch. So she's in the booth, and it was kind of dark.
How's she looking?
I mean, she looking like Maya. You know what I'm saying?
Hello, guys.
Maya,
Go ahead.
a little long-haired yellow bone with some thighs and a little rump right. You know. Anyway, so
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
You know, I'm not starstruck, but I'm starstruck because I'm still got to be a G around it. You know what I'm saying? That's Maya. So I come in the room and she's in the middle of a run and she don't do the run right. So I hit the talk back. I'm like, "Hey, that ain't the run," and I sung it. And so like Maya was behind the mic like this, and you could see her do like first of all, where you come from and who are you? That's what she looked. She ain't say nothing. She's like, "Oh, okay, I'll try that." And so she does it, and she finishes up like the verse or whatever. She comes out and she's like, "So who am I? Who do I have the pleasure of meeting? Who's correcting me in the booth?" And I say, "Oh, I'm Bottz." And she's like, "You're Bottz?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh my God, I love your tracks." And you know, you have surreal moments in your career.
Hello.
And I think I might have came on myself about 5 times, right? I think I had about 5 full body orgasms right then. And she gave me a hug, you know, and first of all, she had already said, I love your beats. And she was excited. That really, you know, I'm like,
hell yeah.
She was like, "Oh my God, I love your beats. I love your beats." And she gave me a hug, and I'm hugging and looking at my boy Mike Mo like, I still had this kid there, like, and he was like,
I'm so
"Yo,
jealous. I'm so jealous, my guy."
He was like, he told me, he said, "Yo, when I came in to do the session, all she was talking about is meeting this producer because she loved your whole CD, and she wasn't working with nobody else in Houston. She was like, that's who I need in the studio with me." So we ended up building this relationship because she was down there for a while, and her dad was like doing some other stuff. Shout out to Haji. That was her management and bodyguard. So I meet Haji, and Haji comes talking to me. He's like, "Man, you know, I trust you, Bottz, because Maya wants to do some things, and do you think you can run her, you know, to go do X, Y, and Z?" I'm like, "Hell yeah. What you mean, can I?" So like me and Maya got real cool. Like when I say cool, we would go out to eat. You know, one time Maya had the longest session I ever had at first because it was an 18-hour session, literally 18 hours. And I took 2 naps. I got on the couch, took naps, and I woke up to Maya recording herself. Like she knows how to run Pro Tools and all that. So I'm like, she's like, "Go to bed, Bottz. I got it." Okay. So I take me a nap, wake up, she working. So after this session, it's like 3 a.m. Maya was like, "Don't you got a gym membership?" I say, "Yeah." She's like, "I want to go work out." And I'm like, "Okay."
18-hour session?
I said, I'm looking at her like, "Now?" And she's like, "Yes." So I take her by the hotel. She changes. And I'm like, "Man, fuck it. I'm going to go and work out." So I work out. Now, mind you, even though she's like my sister now, because we've been working together for months, I'm still a man.
Hello.
Still a man. Maya gets out the car to go work out in a halter top and some biking shorts.
I just died. I came back to life. I'm back to life now.
And you know, this is like early 2010. So social media is kind of big, but it ain't big enough to where you want to take pictures and post them.
Right.
But you know, and she's like, "You know, I trust you. You know, I don't want to be in no." She I don't want to be in no tabloids because of you, Bottz. And I'm like, no, I thought about that check that you and your daddy sent to me, and I'm good. So,
Hello.
but we end up hanging. And if you ever go on my podcast, when I interviewed her, she was like, you used to take me to Burns Barbecue and take me to Papa's. And she was like, da. And I say, look at your ass now. You a vegan. You know what I'm saying? You don't eat none of that.
Don't eat none of that.
But
no,
you
but
saw...
the thing is, when we was in Atlanta, I saw how much love Maya gave you. Like, literally moved everybody out the way. She saw you lit up. Oh, like, brought us on stage. I got to hug her. So I did get my hug, and she smelled good. Her hair, I had a hair follicle on my face. I was like, oh my God. So shout out to Maya. She showed me some love. I got a picture and everything, so I cherish that. So, but you a great businessman to keep it professional.
Yeah.
But let's keep it going.
The funny thing is I posted, remember when we found out, I think I posted on my story, I was like, ATL, I'm going to be there next week. Y'all pull up. Well, she saw the story. And she was like, Bottz, you going to be, she texted me, say, Bottz, you going to be in ATL next week? I said, yeah. She's like, when you get there? And I told her, she's like, well, I got a performance there. She's like, I know you coming. And I say, I guess I am now. I hadn't planned on it. And so, she was like, she's like, whatever, boy, I know you coming. I was like, yeah, I'll be there. Just send me the info. And then, she had her manager hit us up. And, like you say, it wasn't nothing but love. When we got up there, I mean, that's just, we built more than a business relationship. And so, she texted me on my birthday, Christmas, Father's Day. We cool. She know my birthday. She remember my birthday because one year she was down here working and I took her to Papados. Me, her, and Dollar Bill went to Papados for my birthday. So shout out to Maya, man. She's one of the dopest and most humblest people you'll ever meet in the industry. So, and hopefully, she told me, man, we can kind of cross our fingers and do whatever. She said if she's not working when we come to the DMV, she pulling up. So that'll be dope. That'll be dope. Yeah. Yeah,
well, you know where I'm at. All right. Well, Bottz, man, we've been cooking. So now let's talk about this Cookout album. Let's talk about the Cookout, and then we're gonna talk about the album, and then we're gonna move on to everything else you got going on because you got so many dope things going on, my guy. So let's talk about the legendary Cookout, my guy. Hello.
So, the Cookout was birthed from, I went to a writing camp in ATL right before the pandemic. When I say right before the pandemic, like it was like in February 2020. And I got invited there. I won't mention the names, but it was a big record company, big writers, and they were holding a writing camp. And so they had like 20 writers there, aside from the quote unquote A-listers. And so they was supposed to help them write songs and all this, but somewhere in the session, man, they start being assholes. Like you don't know this. What you mean? How you trying to be a writer? And I'm sitting there like, I want to knock this dude out. First of all, I know studio protocol. I don't want to mess up my money because they paid for me to come. I'm not finna mess my money up. But you can't talk to him. And like one of them left, one of them start crying. And one of them was like, I'm going to quit the music. If this is what it's going to be like. And I was just like, damn, man, it got to be somebody got to have something to teach newer artists, how to do stuff and not get mad and not get upset with them. And the studio should be a safe space. It should be a place where there ain't no egos and it ain't, and they were talking bad to him. When I wrote my fourth #1 single, I'm just sitting there like, man, ass up. Nobody, they ain't come for all that, bro. They come to learn. And so I came back home to Houston and I was like, man, I should create an event that gives artists, the safety and the knowledge and the experience of working with, industry standard, records and people and studios. And so the pandemic hits. Now I had told my homeboy JoJo when I got back, because he asked me, how was your trip? And I told him how it was and what I was envisioning. He was like, well, go do it. I'm like, cool. Shit, March, whoop, the world shut down. So there goes that. Now, JoJo is one of my accountability partners. So we had our brother breakfast like at the beginning of January 2021. And JoJo says, hey, man, what happened to that event you talked about you wanted to do? And I was like, man, it's a pandemic. Ain't nobody coming to da-da-da-da-da-da. And JoJo checked me. Like, JoJo was like, he looked me up and down. He's like, I was like, what's up? He's like, I'm trying to see who you are because you ain't Bottz. And I'm like, what you mean? He say, Bottz, he ain't never said I can't or I won't or I can try. He's like, you tell everybody they can do whatever. And I say, you know what? You checked me and you're right. So I called a couple of homeboys, I called a couple of homegirls. And I said, hey, I got this idea. I want to go to a studio and I want to record and I want to teach and I want to do all this. Y'all down? I hit my boy Sean. I hit my sis Brendolyn. At the time, I had, someone assisting me named Megan, and Megan hit Titanic. And that's when I had just met Miss Delila, and Miss Delila had a session and heard me and Megan talk about it. She was ear hustling, and Miss Delila, I want to go. So that's just how she said it.
That sounds like her.
She's gonna kill me when she see that. So she came, and so we were like, they was like, matter of fact, I was in Atlanta the month before, and I was working on Brittany J album. And me and Jay Kane was talking. And shout out to Jay Kane. Me and Jay Kane was talking, and I'm looking at the studio we recording, and I'm like, man, this will be dope to do what I've been thinking about doing. And Jay Kane was like, what's that, bro? And I told him, he's like, what you waiting on? And that was kind of like confirmation, like, Bottz put this shit together. So I left ATL, came back home, and I put it together. I had them, I was like, hey, we're going to go up there for this date. I'm going to book the studio, and we're going to do whatever. So the first initial one was in February of 2021 in Atlanta at Icon Studios. It was a vibe, man. Like, when we first got there, like, I'm talking about from the first beat I played. The first beat I played was the one that ended up being Hustle by Titanic. Now, this is my first time meeting her. I've heard a lot about her. I had seen her on IG. But this is my first time meeting her, first time working with her. When I tell you, we just clicked. And so we did that record. Then we did another record for Chris Brown. We did a Chris Brown demo because he was looking for records. And my boy Lawan was there. Shout out to Lawan. Lawan pulled up, and it was dope because we had Raz B pulled up the second night. We had Mace's producers. Mace was actually in another room working. And we had his producers come in the room, and they was like, they was giving us the head bob of approval. And we had one of the Real Housewives of Atlanta pull up. And so it was dope.
Lit. It was jumping.
It was dope. And so after we left Atlanta, Bren was like, that was dope, Bottz. She's like, we need to do another one. And I hit Sean. I was like, you think we need to do another? He's like, man, let's do another one. So I hit everybody. I was like, yo, let's do another one. Let's do and they was like, where we gonna do it? I say, let's go to LA. So we went to LA 2 months later. We're in April. So this is where we learned. We were learning along the way because when we went to LA, we booked 3 nights. I don't know what the hell we was thinking.
Y'all was popping y'all collar at that time.
Didn't I tell you we were wore out? So I said we'll never do 3 nights again. So, but the thing about LA, we had like close to 100 people pull up. Middle of a pandemic. LA had just came from being on lockdown, literally.
Right.
They came from being on lockdown like a week or two before we got there. So the city wasn't even open, but the studio was packed. You go back and look at the footage, man, it was packed. So
that jump was jumping.
We was on to something, and I knew it then. I'm like, okay, this shit here really, really working. So then, we had a management switch. Catrice stepped in and was like, hey, I see where you're going. I see your vision. And, no knock to your assistant, but, I can help you take this thing to the next level. And so, I saw it and I had already seen it. And I was like, cool. So I let her go, still let her be a part of the organization, just relieved her of, the assistant duties at the time. And we went to New York. You pulled up to New York. You saw it. I think that was when we first met in New York, I believe.
That was our first time meeting. That was our first time meeting in New York.
You pulled up to New York and you saw the vibes, man. You saw the records we was cutting, and you came right on in. I say, Roth, you got some beats? Like, yeah. You start playing beats, people start rapping on them. And at this time, we still didn't have our true identity of what the cookout was. You know what I mean? Right. We were just getting together, a bunch of people, spending our money, going across the country, cutting records at this time. Hello. But I saw so much more. So when we left New York, I told Treese, I was like, it's a lot more we can do with this event. So we booked another. We had already made the calendar by then. We went to Miami. Miami was, I think Miami was the most pivotal one last year because one, the whole team came. The whole cookout team came. Shout out to my team, Corey, LaJuan, JK,
Salute.
Brittany, Dara, Titanic, Easy, Misfits, Catrice, Miss Delila, Brendolyn. That's the squad. KD. My boy KD been at every one of them except for the first one because so Miami, we had a gelling moment. We did some stuff outside of the studio that changed. Like we all went to the beach. Cause one, I was shooting a video for Tacos and Titties.
Yeah.
We all went to the beach and we were just able to hang outside of the studio, and we hadn't done that in no other cities. And so Miami, I think, really linked us together as a family and as a team. And from there, you came to the one in the DMV. We had the live showcase. That was on point.
That was fire.
Yeah. So we did that. And I told them this year, I was like, well, after DMV, I was like, man, we got to include something. We got to grow. We can't just offer the same thing
Right.
So we added the knowledge base, which is the classes, which have been, successful. We've had people love the classes. So we wrote the calendar out for this year. We done already knocked out Dallas. You done been into the last two in Atlanta and LA. And Charlotte's on deck. You know what I'm saying?
Hello, right now.
The event is it's taking off, man. We getting sponsorships. We got other people, mega people jumping in with us. Bob Sumner is doing the comedy thing we are excited about. And we got some other things we're doing for Miami for the closeout. I'm doing the Cookout Awards.
Hello.
And the Thanksgiving feast. We're going to do the live showcase. We're going to have DJ Ice Mike. And, we got to give a lot of credit to Clubhouse because I met a lot of these people on Clubhouse, with our room and just being in other rooms. So the Cookout from last year yielded us the Cookout album.
Hello, goddamn.
That's what.
Hello, stream that album, the Cookout Volume 1. Hello, goddamn.
That yielded us, and that is just 12 tracks of some of the work we put in last year, and I couldn't be more proud of it, man. I listen to it every day. I go to bed with it at night, and I turn my phone on, I turn it down, and I let it stream all night. If I wake up with anything in my, wake up, I hear it softly playing. You know what I'm saying? That's my baby. It's my very first album I put out. And, we at 200K, we pushing 200K, and that's unheard of. Indie record, not a single, not a major. We are independent, pushing, doing what we do independently. And we got it's majors who done release records with major artists this year that don't have that.
Hello.
So it's just a testimony to the great music, great support, man. I have a great support system, man. I couldn't ask for a better support system with you and Auntie, man. Everybody supporting each other, man. Love is so, the love is always felt, whether it's monetarily, whether it's just showing up. Dre, we met Dre last year, you know what I'm saying? And Dre is filtered into the family. Dre be feed me every other week. You know what I'm saying? It just,
right.
It's a real family atmosphere. And that's what I wanted to cultivate with the Cookout. Nobody comes in and feels inferior or feels intimidated. And, people come in with that deer in headlight look for, the first
day.
But then, once they see what's going on, they come right in. So, man, I'm excited about it and what it's doing. We've already started the schedule for next year because it ain't stopping. You know what I'm saying? So,
hello,
we rocking, bro. We rocking. It's just a great wave we riding, and shout out to the team, man. Shout out to the fam, man. I love it. I wouldn't trade it. I told Lily this a couple nights ago. I said I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I love where my life is right now. I love the people in my life. Like I said, 2 years ago, you couldn't have told me this is what I'd be doing.
Come on, my guy. Look, we on this app right now chopping it up. We wouldn't even been able to do this. Come on, my guy. Come on, my guy.
It's fate. It's fate that we link up, with me, you, and Auntie Jackie doing what we doing with the room. People think.
Hold on. We gonna get to that. We gonna close out on the clubhouse. We gonna close up on the clubhouse because we gotta talk about the dopest room on the internet, and then we gonna finish there, and then
we
got Flex pop the collar on them, and then we gonna give some words. We need a little Bottsism at the end. And then we'll, because I know you're busy. I want to take you all your time.
Oh, no, you good, bro. I'm waiting on Lily. Lily on the way. She been working all week, so she coming to hang. So I'm
all right. So if we got time for a couple questions, if you cool, You know what
Look,
I'm
I
saying?
have nothing after this, brother. I'm going home and getting ready for tomorrow, so it's all good.
All
We
right,
can
hey,
keep
well,
it up.
we got the people in the building, so y'all stand by. We're gonna let y'all ask questions at the end, but we gotta talk about. For me, my life changed 2,000% once I downloaded the app Clubhouse. Bottz and Chris Penta, salute. Those my brothers. They welcomed me with open arms. I think y'all was my second room that I've been in, and y'all brought me on stage. So we gonna talk about. We gotta backtrack a little bit. November, for me, I got in November 5th, 2020. I know y'all came in a week before me. So let's talk about Clubhouse, your first experience, and then just kind of lead us through almost, look, we coming up on 2 in a minute. So, you know what I'm saying? 2 years. So, sheesh, let's talk about the greatest app. Hello, goddamn it, Clubhouse.
Just like you, first of all, somebody offered me an invite to Clubhouse in the summer. And just from the name alone, I was like, man, that sounds like something for kids. I ain't getting on no damn club. So then I was at the studio one day and Steve-O came in. Shout out to Steve-O. I forgot to mention him earlier. Steve-O came in. He's like, Bottz. I kept hearing all this talking. I said, man, you on a 3-way call? What you doing? He said, I'm on Clubhouse. I was like, what? Clubhouse? You ain't on Clubhouse? I say, nah. He said, man. If you know how Steve-O talk, man, I'm gonna invite you. Cause Bottz, you get on Clubhouse, you gonna blow Clubhouse up. I just know you will. And so he gave me, this is when Clubhouse was invite only.
Yeah.
Niggas was fiending for them. You got some more than
Hey man, I will pay you for one. I will pay you for some invite.
Yeah, people was paying. So he invited me. And then that's when they used to do the welcome room. So I forgot the chick he had, but a chick and him gave me the welcome room, gave me how to operate it. So, my first couple days on Clubhouse, I really didn't get on there. And then I heard him on it again, and he was in a room with, I think it was Ninth Wonder. I think it was Ninth Wonder. It was one of them East Coast producers, either Just Blaze or Ninth. And I say, niggas, that Ninth Wonder? He's like, yeah, come in the room. I say, they be on Club? You know what I'm saying? Like, they be on Club? And so I got on there, and I started going and navigating in these rooms. And the messed up thing, not even messed up, the fucked up thing, Clubhouse tricked me when I first did my name. They told me to type your name in, so I type in Davion. And that's what they made my name be for like 3 weeks. And so I'm going in rooms, and then I start talking, and people in the industry know me like, Bottz. I'm like, what? They're like, who the hell is
Davion? They're like, who's this Davion?
Yeah. And so
sound like Bottz.
Yeah, they're like, who is this? Because matter of fact, I went in the room with Big E, my boy Big E. And so he was like, wait a minute, I know that voice. You know how he talk. I was like, what up, bro? I was like, what up, bro? Bottz? I said, yeah. He's like, man, you got an alias? I said, nigga, that's my name.
That's so saying. Yeah. Alias? You trying to go undercover?
Soon as I was able to, they let you change it like once or twice. I changed that mug straight to Bottz. So I ended up starting just going in rooms, meeting different people, listening to gaining knowledge. And then, of course, we had the rooms we would be in, and they started doing all the capping. And so we hated it. Like we hated it. Like we hated to hear all the lies. We hated to hear the disrespect. We hated all that. And so, I formed my room first, no egos, just work. And y'all, as a matter of fact, in the same, mine got approved right before y'all's did. And so I was doing my room, y'all would come in there, and then when I shut mine down, I would come in the Music Network and No Egos. And so, I never forget, y'all did a 24-hour thing with Lena, Chris, I forgot, I think Tina Cole, and a couple other people. And I was like, man, I am not sitting in for 24 hours. But I came in, I did a 3-hour shift. And that's when we first met Auntie Jackie. And Auntie came in there, and she ain't really talk. And, her name wasn't Auntie then. She was just Jackie. She was just Jackie. And so I heard her talk, and I was like, you sound like Auntie. So I say, your name gonna be And here we are, a year and a half later, thousands of people from this clubhouse call her Auntie Jackie because of me. So, we kind of just start growing into our roles. The room wasn't as jumping as it was. We didn't have no schedules. We ain't know nothing about no damn clubhouse.
We was on there.
Yeah, at the beginning of 2021 last year, when you was like, hey man, we could do it more consistently. I think it'll be a benefit, benefit. Da da da. I'm like, all right, cool. And so you stopped it, and so I started doing my room, and so then when you started back up, Auntie want me to tell the story. I ain't telling the story because when you tell it enough, I see her still on here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we started back up, and we just started rolling, man. And major people start pulling up, and once we got that schedule down and the time, and we started learning how to do rooms and started how to do the schedule, shit, it took off. And some people I see always talking about they can't fit in on Clubhouse and they don't know how to work it and they hate it. I'm like, man, I done made a lot of money off of Clubhouse. So
Hello.
shout out to the app. Whoever made it, shout out to you. Salami, bologna, because I wouldn't. And I tell people I was popping before Clubhouse. I mean, I had a career.
Hello. You were
But
working, my guy.
Clubhouse just gave me access to more people to make me more popular. You did?
Hello.
So shout
Hello.
out to
Popping a
Clubhouse.
collar, man. Clubhouse changed the game because, bro, it's crazy because just listening to these stories, my guy, it seems like whenever adversity came, that allowed a change in your life and career to happen as well. So, and looking at the pandemic, it allowed us to come together and have mad time to, because like you said, me and you both got similar stories. We both was like changing our whole lives around, 2, 3 years ago. So it's like we had the time to actually be on the app. Because I
Right.
know if this came out 2, 3 years before, I wouldn't definitely
What
had the time. I
you
wouldn't be able
wouldn't.
to. I wouldn't have no time a day because my schedule was crazy. I'm working,
Right.
I'm doing all this stuff, and
Yeah.
still working on my career, still doing things and all that. So I definitely understand what you mean, like the perfect timing. And sometimes through adversity, like beautiful things are birthed and beautiful things are created. So you
Right.
know what I'm saying? So that's a shout out to Clubhouse because, like I said, man, we here now. We've been cooking together. We done made production together. We done, you know what I'm saying, been across the U.S. together, my guy. So,
We just getting started.
hello. This is an infant stage. We still in the toddler stage, my guy. Imagine
Bruh.
2, 3 years from now what we gonna be doing. So, hello.
Man, look, it's just a beautiful thing, man, where we are, the relationships we've been able to build, the family, really the family. It ain't even it's a family. I tell people the cookout ain't nothing but a family reunion every other month around music and food and
Hello.
liquor. You know what
And
I'm saying?
drink. And Zaza.
And Zaza. Because, that's what it feels like. And everybody, it be legit people like, I miss you. Like, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to work
Facts.
with you, and that's what a lot of people miss. Some people that we had one chick almost made me cry. I ain't gonna even lie, because she was like, "This is my family, and I ain't grow up with no family, but y'all are my family." And so that lets you know the event is working. Every cookout has 2 or 3 people who are just like, I ain't gonna miss no more. I love the environment, and so that lets me know the event is working. And so we owe a lot of that to Clubhouse. Shout out
Facts.
to Clubhouse. So.
All right, well, man, Bottz, before we get up out of here, before we get to the questions, man, we started a segment called the Bottsisms. You know what I'm saying, where you just be cooking because you want to, you know what I'm saying, you and myself are some motivational speakers, man. So, we like to bless the people with some good words of encouragement, let them know, keep going, keep doing your thing, keep working. Because I love the story you told. I wanted to cover that, but we just been cooking about you working 3 jobs and you grinding, and then you starting your studio, and then been having that over the years as well. So you know what I'm saying. So I know from just all those years of experiencing, going back from getting kicked out of band to where you at now, my guy. What is along your journey? What is something that you want to tell the people out there, and for the people that, because this is gonna be a dope clip too. But for the people out there who's going to be seeing this and hearing this, that may be feeling like, I don't know if this is for me. I ain't got no placements for the producers or for artists. I ain't chill. I knew you was gonna laugh when I said. I knew you was gonna laugh when I said that. But are the artists that feel like they don't know who they are, they don't know like what kind of music to make. Like what can you give the people just with all your experience? What words of wisdom, Bottsism that you want to give them tonight, my guy?
Well, when it comes to being a creative, you got to really be what that word is. You know what I'm saying? Not a copycatter, not a quoter, Now, find your lane. All the producers that I kind of mentor, I tell them this statement and I want them to give me their definition. I say, when you produce, play what you hear and not what you hear. And most of them always miss it. And they like, what do you mean? I say, play what you hear. And I say, listen to how I'm saying it. Play what you hear, not what you hear. And they miss it. And I'm like, what kind of music do you listen to? And they'll tell me. And I say, I already knew before you told me. How you know? Because I hear it in your beats. You sound exactly like so-and-so. So you got to play what you hear. What your mind telling you, what your spirit telling you, what your creativity as a creative is telling you. And we're in such an age that there's only 12 keys on the keyboard. That's not gonna ever change. You have to find a creative way to make your sound stick out. And I've never done a type beat. I see it all the time on YouTube. So and so type beat, and I'm like, well, if that beat's been done, why are you trying to do that type of beat? Why not do your own and have your own lane? And so I would definitely tell them that, one, you got to trust your dopeness, and sometimes you got to be honest with people and say either you got it or you don't. You know what I mean? And you could love music and love doing all that and just not be fit for an artist. Go do A&R or go get you a studio. That don't mean, you got to give up the dream of whatever. So you got to trust your dopeness. You got to know your lane. And you gotta be you gotta be humble, man. That's one thing every time I do a podcast or interview, people say, "What's your secret to success?" Being humble. You know what I mean? I've never been the cloudy person. There's so many records I produce, man. It's crazy. Lewis, I thought I saw him on here. Lewis was trying to do my catalog, not even my whole catalog, but just some of it to try to get some money. Let's be honest. It's like, man, you got publishing everywhere. And we couldn't remember a fourth of them.
Right.
And it's because I produced a lot of records and people have wanted me to be in the video. They want to shout my name in the verse. Hey, I'm gonna tell them, you ain't got to do all that. I don't need to shine on me. You know what I mean? I've always been humble and I've always been hungry. You stay humble and hungry and you're gonna go a long way in this business. It's when you get egotistical and full. Right. That's the opposite of being humble and hungry. You stay hungry because every day you're not working toward doing whatever somebody else is.
Hello.
Every day you're not and it's not saying you got to write every day, you got to record every day. It's some days I don't want to do nothing with music. You know what I'm saying? And I may fall behind, but I know the next 3 days I'm going to be mashing that gas on your ass. So life is about balance. I have learned that. Life is about balance and you got to know your work ethic. You got to develop a work ethic. You know what I mean? My work ethic is crazy, but I know when to take time off. I know when to just chill. I know when I need, you know what I'm saying? So one, you got to trust your dopeness. Two, you got to create, you got to, create your lane, create your sound. And three, you got to stay humble and hungry. Those three will get you success. It may not be the type of success a lot of people think, because they think you got to be successful with a hit on the radio or have a number one song. And I'm like, y'all really don't know. It's people making millions who ain't never touched the Billboard charts.
Hello, talk about it.
If you know the game, you got to know the game. You know what I mean? So I haven't had a hit on the radio. I know in 2-3 years, but shit, I had 8 records on the Billboard charts last year. 8. So you know what I mean? It's you got to learn the business. So you gotta trust your own dopeness. I meet so many insecure. I hate an insecure artist. I hate insecure artists. If you're gonna be an artist, shit, you gotta have some kind of strut. Don't get in the booth.
I mean, you gotta come with that pop and that like we gotta know who you are. You gotta be the dopest in the world when you coming as an artist, my guy.
Right, and that's not being arrogant. That's being confident. It's a big difference, in being the shit and knowing you the shit. You know what I'm saying? So definitely got to do that. You got to have that, and you got to find your own lane. Music right now is so congested with the same old shit, the same old record, same old. Man, I told somebody today, they sent me a record. I say, they want to send me a record. I say, don't send it to me if it starts off with a bunch of auto-tune. Oh, I'm sending something else. Yeah. Why are you sending me? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because the industry is just saturated with it. And so gotta find your lane, and you just gotta remain humble and hungry, man. That will.
That's dope. That's dope.
That's my
Hey, it should be some claps going on right now. I should see some clapping going on down there. Cause there we go. We got some claps down there, my guy. Cause man, Bottz is cooking per usual, per usual. So D Bottz is in the building, man. I appreciate you, my guy. D Bottz again, man, giving you your flowers. Hey, man, I'm glad to know you. I'm glad to call you my brother. I'm glad that, to learn from you, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's about, no ego. It's about, like we all dope. So it ain't no
right,
point for nobody to be jealous of anybody else, you know what I'm
right,
saying? That
right,
nobody need to be hating on nobody else. It should be all love and inspiration and motivation for each other. Because with me, you and
right.
Sean, we play around like, hey, man, we got that Bottz cooking. Me and Sean, like, Bottz cooking? All right, well, let me get back in the joint and cook up. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
it's motivation, and you know what I'm
yeah.
saying. So we all went in with the Cookout album at the same time, so it's
Everybody,
all beautiful, man. It's so
look,
beautiful, my guy.
everybody. There's enough sunlight for everybody to get a tan. You dig?
Hello, goddamn.
I ain't got to stand over you in the shade so you don't get no tan. No, it's enough sun for us all to get black. So
Hello.
yeah, man, I appreciate you, bro. You told me, hey, when I start back up, you're gonna be my first guest. So I appreciate you, my brother.
Yes,
And
sir.
a lot of the networks and relationships I've had are because of you. So I got to give you your props. I've
I
even
got
watched
it.
you, the producer, over the past year, just grow. I've heard you take some of them same hats that you was using in a lot of your tracks and change them up. And I
Yeah.
think. Like, I think Roth be listening to me because
You know, hey, you want to tell you? I want to tell you this is a pivotal moment when we went to New York Cookout. Now, you guys, that's the first time me and you ever got in the stew.
right,
The first time
right,
we ever got in the stew, and I'm like, this nigga showing off. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I said, this motherfucker is showing off, and it's deserving so to show off because them things was rocking, and I'm like. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's why you have to be around people who got, different sounds, different drums. You got, like inspiration. A lot of my favorite producers, I hear
right.
some, I'm like, yo, that's dope. And let me just kind of add my dope. So you exactly right. I'm glad you noticed that because I definitely did change up my
Yeah,
hat. Listening to
I pay attention. I may not say it, but I pay attention. My ears are my money, so I pays attention, man. So I
that's
appreciate you,
love,
brother.
bro. That's
We
love.
rocking the wheels fall off, man.
Hello.
Somebody got a
Hello, man.
problem with Roth, they got a problem with Bottz. So
I said that, my guy. If anybody got smoke with Bottz or Auntie, they got smoke with Roth automatic. I don't care.
yeah,
We was cool yesterday. If you got smoke, you got smoke with them too. Roth comes with smoke too. So that's
right,
for everybody. Y'all know that. I protect my people, and they
yeah,
protect me the same way. So
yeah.
what we gonna do right now, my guy? This is a new platform. I appreciate you. I had to set it off right with my guy. So we gonna open the floor up for some questions. I see it's already one person or Dre just putting his stuff up there. But anybody want to come on the stage and ask Bottz a
They
question?
can do all
We're
that.
gonna
That's
do that
dope.
for about 10 more. We're gonna do it for about 10 minutes, and then we're gonna get up out of here. So if you want to come onto the stage, just let me know. Hit the joint if you want to come up to the stage. You ain't got to come on video. You can just do the audio if you want.
Ah, that's dope. Yeah, that is dope.
You know what I'm saying? So I ain't, anybody want to come up? If not, you know what I'm saying? We gonna keep it rolling, keep it moving. So I'm waiting for no speaking. Anybody? Not everybody shy. All right, it's cool. It's the first show. So listen, I'll be doing this Roth Talk podcast every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man. Salute to the Cookout. Charlotte is coming. Talk about that real quick, Bots, before we get up out of here. The Cookout Charlotte, because that's coming up next month. Hello.
Yes, sir. Cookout Charlotte will be at Maximus Studios on the 21st and 22nd. We excited about that. We even excited about on the 20th, Bob Sumner joining forces with the Cookout to bring the No Egos comedy showcase to life. And if you've never been to a Cookout, Charlotte is going to be something like we're almost at half capacity with tickets sold
Mm,
already. And
mm.
so Charlotte is going to be nuts. It's going to be from top to bottom energy, beats, songs, records, and we're releasing the mixtape, the Cookout mixtape.
Sheesh.
So Charlotte is just, bro. I can't. It's like it's Christmas.
Again.
You know what I'm saying? So
Hello.
it's Charlotte is gonna be crazy. So I'm excited about Charlotte. So man, y'all better get them tickets and get your flights and if you're driving or whatever you're doing, just get your ass to
Better
Charlotte.
pull up. Goddamn. It's
It's
going
going.
down. Well, is there anything else you want to plug? You got anything else you want to plug or put out there? You got anything dropping? You got anything you want to let us know before we get up out of here?
Nah, man. You know, it's all about the cookout. It's all about, supporting the album, stream. We got the Body Open single dropping within the next couple weeks. We got your song dropping at the cookout, man. There's a lot of great things. It's just a wave, brother. And we gonna ride this motherfucker. So
We riding this thing to the wheel. Look, the wheels ain't gonna fall off because we gonna just keep riding. You hear me? So again, these bots, let them know where they can find you. Let them know about your socials real quick, and then we gonna get up out of here, my guy.
man, y'all can follow me on Instagram, Bottz World Studios. You can follow me on Twitter, producer D Bottz. You can hit me on Facebook. I don't really be on there no more because I be in jail a lot. But you can go like my Bottz World Studio page. I do have a podcast. I ain't even think about my podcast.
Yeah, I was about to say the podcast.
I forgot about that. Thinking Outside D Bots with me and my host TT, and we recorded some fire ones we getting ready to drop. And I'm gonna be bringing Rothstein on my podcast. It is on the Patreon platform, so go to Patreon, download it. Look, $10 a month. You can get your laugh on. You can get informed. You can get motivated. You can get inspired. We do it all on the Thinking Outside D Bots podcast. So I'll let your boy on there.
Yes, sir, my guy. And I'm telling you, you know Bots is funny. If you've been on Clubhouse, he acts a fool. So he definitely cut up on the podcast. So make sure you pull up, man. Because them BANs, you know that's my thing, man. The BANs got to go, my guy.
Yeah,
So,
they got to go, man.
They got to go, my guy. But, man, again, my brother, you know we're going to talk in the AM, my guy. And
Yes,
again, make sure y'all pull up to the Music Network and No Egos Club on Clubhouse. The best room on Clubhouse, the longest running Clubhouse room for networking on the app.
You got the flex.
We at 20. We about to be at 25K members. I mean, the deals, the comedy rooms, the content rooms, the movie rooms. Man, come on, my guy. The NFT rooms. I mean, we've been cooking, my guy. So we got much more to do. My guy. So with that being said, thank y'all for tuning in to the Roth Talk podcast where we talk that talk. And D-Bots definitely talk that damn talk. I hope y'all enjoyed yourself like I did. And make sure you tap into my YouTube page, Roth Talk Podcast, because this will be up on the podcast. And then this will be, everywhere your podcast will be as well. But I want to shout out the Fireside Chat app for them reaching out and bringing me onto the platform. They put me in their newsletter. I was up on the little front page shit. So
I saw that.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Fireside. They treating the brother kind of nice right now. So I'm just letting y'all know. They treating the brother. Tell Mark Cuban to hit my line. And I'm definitely trying to do some more things, my guys. So we getting up out of here. Thank y'all. We love y'all. Any last words, D-Bots, my guy?
Man, giggity. And a motherfucking good.
And that's right. And we out this thing. Holla at y'all in the AM, heifers. And we gone, man. Peace. Hello.